This is the Tabernacle Podcast with Braydon and Gabby Cromwell and me, John Vermilia.
Let's go.
How are you guys doing? Thanks for coming back.
Good to be back.
Excited for part 2.
Are you really, is what I want to know. Because you survived the first one.
We've been talking about it.
We have been.
Within the last month.
What you do different, how to cut John off, when he goes on a rant, so forth. If you're just tuning into this one, Braydon and Gabby Cromwell shared the first part of their Change of Life story on number 194. And here we are in podcast 198. So if you want to hear the first part, because you might get left out, you need to stop right now and go back and listen to 194. But we didn't finish all the good parts of the story, and so that's why you're back today. Also, for those of you that don't know, Braydon and Gabby have moved here from the far west. They're both from Montana by way of Indiana Wesleyan University, and Braydon is on our staff. And Gabby's figuring out that means you're kind of coming as part of the package, which is a great part.
It's fun. Yeah, I love it.
But Gabby, you're from Bozeman, correct? Mm-hmm. Did I get that right?
Bozeman.
And
Bose Angeles.
Sorry?
Bose Angeles.
Bose Angeles, Bozeman. Yeah. And you, I never remember the name of the town. I don't think there is a town. It's just a speck on a map.
Yeah, Scobie.
Scobie. Yeah. That's right.
The big city.
Well, if you're not watching the podcast, if you're just listening, what you're going to miss is in honor of Braydon and Gabby, I'm rocking my Yellowstone t-shirt.
Nice Tatanka.
And you're wearing a buffalo, Braydon's favorite animal.
Same here. There's a fist bump. That's my favorite, 100%. Yeah. Out of all the things we saw in Yellowstone, that was. So I think we recorded your podcast in July?
June or July.
June or July.
Think,
somewhere in there.
And during that time, our family took a family vacation, hadn't done one in 2 years, and we went to Yellowstone. You guys were helpful in what to do. And although all the Montana people say, "Oh, Yellowstone, that's nice. You haven't seen Glacier."
Yeah, it's all right.
Glacier is cool.
Glacier's got more beauty. Yellowstone has more animals.
Yeah. I feel like too, Yellowstone is like Glacier's more of a backcountry type hiking.
Yeah.
Not that it's that, but the feels of that is. Yeah.
I think that's probably the same thing that I heard from they weren't haters. They were like, "Oh, good, you finally made it out west."
Yeah.
But it was beautiful, and I agree with you. We saw a ton of animals. Of all the things that you can see there, though, okay, I wasn't too pumped about running into a bear, but it would have been cool to see one from the car if I still had a getaway route.
Yeah.
But the buffalo, man, they were everywhere.
Yeah.
Symbol of America.
Yeah.
Freedom, American West.
Yep.
Let's go. So my wife accidentally bought me 2 shirts, and the only options had to have Tatanka on it.
Yeah, have to.
Yeah, so that's my homage, man. Cool.
Absolutely.
So also, before we jump into part 2, both of you guys experienced youth camp. Welcome to the tab. Let's go to youth camp, right?
Let's go.
Yeah. How was that? You came back with 1,000-yard stare.
Dude, I was dazed.
Yeah?
By day 8, I was ready.
Because it was 2 camps back to back, right?
2 camps, back to back.
What was a highlight for you there? Both of you, because I know Gabby, you were there, and you took Harper.
Yep.
Yeah,
brought Harper with us.
She becomes the mascot for the whole crew.
Yeah.
Was there a highlight or one that you can share?
Yeah, I think the biggest one was there was 2 students who we kind of had to have eyes on all the time, just for reasons. Not going to share why, but by the end of camp, they kind of found different friend groups, and the one who was kind of being, I'm not going to say a problem, just kind of getting into trouble maybe. By the end of camp, she's at the altar worshiping.
Wow.
And all the days before this last day, she did not want to be in the room while we were worshiping. And she's like, "I finally see where Jesus has showed up in my life."
Whoa.
So that was my highlight.
Well, podcast is over.
Yeah.
There's another Change Life one in the bag. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Was there a specific one for you, Gabby?
Yeah.
I didn't even ask. Did you grow up going to youth camp? Or
no, I had never gone to a youth camp. I went to sports camps, but now, looking back, I'm like, but also my parents would try. There was one that my older sister did, and I was just like, no, I got sports. But
I got sports.
Yeah.
I'm a jock.
But
I'm an
now
athlete.
going back, I'm like, I wish that would have been so fun. So, yeah, I think a highlight too would be that moment, and then also just getting to do ministry together like that for the first time, like navigating a week of, being with students and just hopping in and serving wherever is needed, and then having a, 1-year-old with us. Yeah. So that was an adjustment, but super fun. Like, just to be there and to see the kids and build relationships. And I was a part of the small groups, and it was really cool to see, like, first night to, last night, where girls were speaking and being vulnerable, and like even just sharing things that they've learned with one another, speaking on like what they're struggling with. So that was super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Did Harper have a highlight? If you don't know, Harper is your 1-year-old daughter.
Yep.
Do you count in months or years?
I usually just say 1-year-old.
Thank you.
She is.
Thank you.
She's what, 13 months?
Yeah, 13. So you're not going to be the mom that
she's
in a couple years.
Yeah,
I was thinking that exact number. She's 27 months old. No, she's 2 years old. Stop.
No, I'm usually like, she's a 1-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. She kind of like was figuring out how to walk. Like she has this like cart that she pushes around.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she had all the field she wanted.
Wow.
So she was going all over the
I would
place.
say that's probably why she ended up walking so shortly after we got back.
Yeah.
So
she was just getting reps in.
Yeah, she
loved it. She had a really
her
good
mom
time.
and her dad are athletes, right? And so you're out there like, get your reps in, kid.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, I need a second. So I'd sit her cart up and put her down and then just watch her walk off.
Watch her just go on and on and on. That's cool. That's cool. Well, where we left off on podcast 194, God had moved in both of your lives. We talked about Gabby's not one but two major struggles with the nerve. I don't want to call it the damage, but whatever,
it was,
degeneration, disease, whatever, that afflicted both your legs. You could have lost both legs, but kept both of the legs. But the basketball career is done. Like at some point, a doctor said, you're done. And you're still playing college football, and you had the mentor in your life that said, go to Indiana Wesleyan, pursue ministry, and marry that girl. And you did all three. And you show up at Indiana Wesleyan. I think where we left off was, and this is how my brain works. I didn't even go back and listen to it, right? People ask me all the time, well, do you listen to the podcast? I'm like, no, because I'm usually in the podcast. Right? But miraculously, the way God opened doors, you found marriage or married housing, and you are married, and now you're Indiana Wesleyan, and you're going to pursue youth ministry.
Well, at first I was thinking of just doing sports ministry.
Oh, nice.
And God was like, no, because, well, this could have been me too, but like just through prayer and the way the classes were set up, I found myself in a lot more sports management classes than actual ministry classes, which like really ticked me off.
Yeah, it's not set up.
So I'm like, I can do sports ministry with having a ministry position in a church.
100%.
So I dropped sports ministry entirely. It might have been because I was failing a class too. But withdrew from that, and then youth, pastoral men, and was like, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to pursue. Well, at first it was just ministry. I'm going to figure out what I like, what I don't like. And for some reason, I just kept getting put in youth classes. And I don't know if like God's like, you need to be a youth pastor or what. And I didn't come to that realization till December of last year. But I was in all these youth classes and just random encounters, like with a lady who's sticking me with a needle, donating plasma, asking me if I'm a youth pastor. And she has no idea who I am. And I think like at that time, I'm like, okay, I need to do youth ministry.
That was like the last straw. Brayden's like, okay, God.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We do need to pause right here and say, you said donating plasma. So I would just like to make a shout out to all the Christian University. All of your students are donating plasma just to survive there. Let's get the prices down. Sorry, I had one graduate from Indiana Wesleyan and one from Taylor, and they'll be saddled with that. And they're all like plasma donors the whole time. Yep.
Yeah, Brayden's got the scar. I was not allowed to.
You were not allowed. Yeah. They didn't like your plasma?
No, every single time I went, there was a problem.
They blow her veins up.
I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing this again.
So did you have to like enter the transfer portal thing, or was it's not a thing at the NAIA level?
Now it more so is, but at our first university, it was COVID. And then in the off season that summer, I was debating whether or not I needed to go back or if I wanted to go back because she was going through all her medical stuff. And it was like a big decision because at that time I was like the 1 or 2, like I was competing for that spot. And I chose to stay where she was at. So I transferred universities and went to Montana State, but was still training for college football because I had the desire to go back and play.
Yeah.
But I wasn't playing for, 8 months?
Yeah, it was like...
Till we got to IWU. But that's crazy in itself, like, because at first I couldn't get a hold of any of their coaches.
That's typical.
Yeah. So I'm like, maybe I should play football.
And at first it was like a conversation and we were like, no, we're not going to Indiana. And then
that too.
And then Brayden was like, maybe football. And then we were just like, no. Brayden's like, I don't know if I want to do that. But then it was like, we were just kind of like, well, reach out and see if they get back to you. Like, we'll just pray through that process. And so. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like crazy things like she said, we didn't want to go to Indiana Wesleyan at first because it's like, I didn't even know Indiana was a place.
Yeah, seriously.
South of Michigan.
Yeah.
Your favorite football team's in Michigan.
Yeah. Exactly. So we're looking at every other opportunity on the west side of the states, obviously. And like I'd be on the phone and it would just hang up on the way home from work. Like makes no sense. Like, because I mean, I've called people in that spot a million times.
Yeah.
But
there's only one cell tower in Montana.
True.
I mean, we barely...
we all share it.
Sorry, I know this because I'm in Yellowstone. And it's like, well, kids, your phones, put them on airplane mode because there's nothing to see here.
You share it, yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the phone would just give out or I wouldn't get a response back or even a call back after like the phone just hung up randomly.
Yeah.
And then every time like we would be on the phone with Indiana, it'd be like good stuff all the time. And then we emailed them about married housing. They're like, there's no way you guys are going to get in. You're probably going to have to rent this first year. And then 2 weeks later.
Got a random email. Congrats, you're in married housing. And that was all after you had heard from the coaches, though, at that point.
Yeah, one of the coaches got back, and then we flew out, visited, but still didn't know if we were going to able to make it without married housing.
They put Brayden through the workouts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the position at this point, is that end or were they still trying to turn you into
No, tight end for sure. And I was small at that time.
Well, define small. You're 6'5".
Well, I was like 190.
Are you 6'6"?
6'5".
You're 6'5".
But I was like 190.
Wow.
Because I dropped 100 pounds. So then I had to put 40 back on.
You could have a side hustle, just help people learn how to drop
I don't know if
a hundo pounds. Come on, man.
But yeah, so yeah, that was a change.
So you're on the team.
Yeah.
You're at IWU. And you're not taking classes at this point, correct?
No. When we first got to IWU, I took that first semester just to figure out, like, what do I even want to do? So I just, like, worked at the bookstore and then just kind of, like, built relationships off of, like, the people Brayden was meeting. And then I was like, because I always had that call to ministry. I just didn't know if I really felt like the educational part was for me. Like, school's a little bit harder for me. So I have a hard time sitting in classes when I'm like, I could go get my hands and feet dirty right now.
Yeah. And that's not bad, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole idea of, this is for our listeners, we have so many staff members that were trained up within the church that I've got some pretty, like, I admire a Christian education or a Christian ministry or a seminary degree. That's great. I mean, and in some cases that's perfect for that person.
Yep.
But in the last 2,000 years since Christ, Peter's seminary was walking around a lake with Jesus for 3 years camping. Camping and doing what he asked him to do. You know, and so we as the church, we see both value in both. So you took the track more like the track that I took. I went to Christian University. People are surprised when they're like, "Oh, in your seminary," and I'm like, "I never finished."
Yeah,
and I did. My undergrad was history and government. I was on the pre-law track. Really, I was on the I want to play pro soccer track. Was it easy or hard? Well, it sounds like you found community, Gabby.
Yeah. At first it was really hard because really the only community, Brayden was gone.
Fall camp, I was home maybe
when we
an hour
first moved
before
there,
bedtime. Like,
wow.
It was like after my parents left, Brayden started fall camp like the next day, and then he was gone like all day. So I was like by myself a lot, which was really hard because I love to be around people. I love being in community. So that was an adjustment. And we're also like newlyweds. So it was like, okay, we're going to figure out how to be married. We don't have our family here. Braden's busy and going to be going to school.
Indiana.
Yeah.
There's no Buffalo for states.
Yeah, literally. So, yeah, it was really hard. But once Braden started classes and then, met the people that we became friends with early on, it was pretty easy to just kind of join in. So he did a really good job of just like inviting me into that. So
yeah. So your mentor had said, look out for Eddie Shigley and Charlie Alcott. Yeah. Were they as advertised? We've had Uncle Charlie on this podcast at least twice. We haven't had Eddie yet. They have a podcast together.
Yeah.
Good days.
Like, good day. I can't even go that low.
Yeah.
Good day.
I don't know how he does it.
Yeah. But were they as advertised? I mean, were they?
Yeah. I'm not. Charlie intimidated me at first because I did not know him. And like now that I do know him, but intro to ministry class, like he gets serious.
Yeah.
And like now that I know him more, I'm like, okay, he's messing with them. But like the first time I was like, dang, this guy's like.
He's passionate.
Yeah.
He's got some great opinions. They've shaped me.
Yeah. I'm like, am I called to ministry? With like some of the stuff he says.
Which is great.
Yeah. And then like Eddie, he texted me within our first couple days being there, and I ignored his text. Didn't text him back. And we didn't reach out to Eddie till Christmas break.
Yeah, we showed up and we're like,
we knocked on his door. I was told I was supposed to meet you, but I kind of ignored him.
Yeah.
Wow.
But as soon as we sat down, absolutely as advertised.
Yeah. He became a huge part of our
Charlie
journey
too, except for he tried to get me to cheat on Gabby.
Yeah. That's a funny story. Yeah.
Okay, you gotta kind of explain that because Uncle Charlie's known for a foot in mouth moment.
So we're at Cypress.
They were doing that trip they do
in Columbus, Ohio for a field trip.
Cypress Church.
Yeah, the Cypress Church.
For our youth and family class. And there's a couple single ladies on their staff or something. And
Charlie works there part-time, so he knows them.
And he's talking to them. I have no idea this is going on.
Yeah.
But he's talking to them apparently by being like, look at that tall, handsome fella.
Yeah.
He probably is looking for a wife and all this.
Yeah.
And then someone overheard him in our class and was like, did you know he's married? And he like freaked out.
Yeah.
He
Charlie
was so
didn't know that
embarrassed.
Gabby was part of the package?
Yeah, no. And
he's probably at the bookstore going, hey, there's a nice single lady. I'll find you a dude.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm married.
And me and Charlie really weren't close at this time.
Yeah.
So like, but like after that, our relationship took off, and he apologized to Gabby probably for 6 months.
Oh my gosh! The first time I think I met Charlie, he was like, "I'm so sorry, I didn't know."
Oh wow!
And I'm like, "Oh, it's literally."
That's hilarious.
So it's so
I'm gonna
funny.
have to give him a hard time. He's coming in today. At the bonfire tonight. I'm gonna give him a hard time.
Yeah.
He's my brother-in-law.
Yeah. Every time he was like, guys, the way I met Gabby was crazy, and he like tells everybody.
Yeah. Cool. So you're playing football. You're playing tight end. Gabby, how are you adjusting with? I mean, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I just shared this with a university I was speaking to last week. A university soccer team. They asked me to come in, not a Christian school, and I talked about that moment that comes for every athlete when it's done.
Yeah.
The way I shared it with them is, even if it's not through injury or being cut, it'll come when you hit your ceiling.
Yep.
Or it'll come when it's you retire.
Yeah.
You know,
it's done.
Were you going through that then?
Yeah, I mean, so there was a kid,
sorry, just one more thing.
Yeah, no.
There's dynamics in a relationship.
Yeah.
And in podcast 194, this is the superstar basketball player of Montana. She's Miss Basketball for Montana. You had even said you saw her on like a TV spot or something.
On the news.
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff. And you were like, man, I just want to go to school wherever that girl's going, you know? And then how we talked about how you guys came together.
Yeah.
And I'm not at all besmirching your football reputation.
No, it's true.
But you weren't on television.
No.
I mean, you're an athlete too.
Not even close.
But now you're continuing, and all of that is gone. There's no cameras in your face. There's no interviews. And even though your identity's in Christ, that's still a change.
Yeah.
And now he's going to class and you're sitting in an apartment working at the bookstore. I'm not trying to pick at the scab, but I'm
true,
just imagining.
It was
what
hard.
am I, just a wife now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm a very ambitious person, and even like becoming a mom, like I don't like to just sit around. I'm not the like, not that I'm not content where I'm at, but it's more of a like, man, there's more. Like, what do I need to be doing? Like, I love to get my hands
because you're always
dirty.
achieving. I got to get fit. I got to develop my left hand.
Yeah. So I think, luckily, I went through a lot of that identity crisis in like before our engagement, probably through our engagement, and then I felt like I was doing really well. I don't know if I struggled as much with the sports aspect when we moved to Indiana.
I don't know. We went and watched a couple games, we did, and she's like, I could play here.
I was like, I could do it. But yeah, I mean, you're always like, when your sports end long before you get to make the decision, it's always in the back of your mind. I think even now still I'm like, what
absolutely.
If? Like, what if I was able to still play? Like, we talk about it all the time. I'm always like, I wonder where I would have ended up or what I would have done or whatever. So it was hard. Yeah. I mean, it was definitely hard too because Brayden got to be, because we, as athletes, I loved the like structure and the like schedule of being an athlete. Like, it just kept you so disciplined. And so seeing Brayden have that community right off the bat, and then the structure and the discipline, whereas I'm like, I'm figuring out now what the heck God wants me to do in all of this, because I knew it wasn't just to be a stay-at-home wife in college,
right
So where I don't even really need to cook because we have meal plans
I know. Wow.
So it was
a little candlelight dinner at the food court.
Yeah, it was hard for sure. But I mean, I think just him, I never was like envious or like jealous. Like it was just very like, I just loved seeing him continue to go back to sports, because I think he struggled with leaving Western and making that decision to step away from football. So I was just very like pumped to see him get to pursue that still. So
that's a good wife right there.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. When the jealousy sets in, it's a bad situation.
Yeah.
Then it becomes, whatever. So what's next? When did, so you were 2 total years at Indiana Wesleyan?
3.
3. Yeah. When did the decision to have Harper come along? Like, what's the backstory there? Or am I missing something before
No,
that?
I don't think you're missing anything.
So during my first year at Indiana Wesleyan, playing football, tore my labrum, fall camp, in my hip. Didn't tell anybody. Just pushed through it. I'm like, and
he knew. I mean, like,
I knew that
he would tell me all the time. He's
wrong.
like, I think I have some type of tear in my hip.
Yeah.
And I was always the one like, well, you need to go in. And he's always like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to pull teeth.
And I chose to redshirt that year so I can like learn the offense, all this stuff. And then first 2 weeks, tear my labrum. Don't tell anybody. And I'm just playing through this pain. And then Christmas break comes, our head coach leaves. And so does the rest of the coaching staff. So we did a new coach who's great and everything. Go through spring ball, hips just terrible.
And it got to a point like in the late spring where he was at home showing me how like when they do their like warm-ups, like stretching warm-ups, he literally couldn't do them. Like, his body would literally not let him do
He's a Montana farm
things.
boy. You know?
Yeah.
You got to plant that corn.
Yeah.
You don't stop to get hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we go in. I go in to get an MRI just to see where it's torn. Find out I also have hip dysplasia.
Yeah. The crazy thing is that the MRI came back shredded labrum. And then when we went with the surgeon, he didn't even pull up Brayden's MRI. He starts showing us Brayden's x-ray, and we were just like that's weird. Like, why are you showing us? And he was like, yeah, you have a shredded labrum, but you're going to keep shredding it because you have a way bigger issue. And then Brayden was literally told, like, if you want to, actually fix the root of the problem, then we have to literally reconstruct your hip.
Matt Hughes, our executive producer, do you have any idea what a labrum is? But it's not important. Yeah. I mean, it's important to you.
Just
it's
the,
important
like,
for me. It's important to walk.
Yeah, it's just the cartilage, so it's smooth.
I just love it when you're talking to high-level athletes and they're drop them, hey, I've got a tear in my placenta. Sorry, that has something to do with birth, but whatever. Hey, I took anatomy and phys. So it's cartilage.
Yeah,
That's done.
So it's just
So
like
that's
keeps it
shredded,
smooth.
and then there's like no doctors that can do this all in one surgery.
Yeah, like they were telling Brayden he was gonna have to like split the surgery up.
But then my cousin, come to find out, had the same problem, and his surgeon was in Colorado. So we get a hold of this guy, fly out to Denver. I get my surgery there. How long was it? I have no idea.
Gosh, I think it was only supposed to be like 4 hours, and it ended up being pretty close to 7.
That's not good.
Because I come to find out, he came and talked to me, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry." He's like, "We had the hardest time getting the bone to like break." He's like, "We like were in there wrestling your husband's leg," and I'm just like, "That's a great image, but hilarious."
My wife, you worked in orthopedic surgery. You don't want to hear the stories.
Yeah,
what they did to you while you were asleep.
Yeah, like he was
your
literally
leg was up
like
here, wrapped around your head, and they were hammering away.
He's like, "I don't know. We had the hardest time just like sawing through his bone." They're like, "We were literally wrestling your husband in the OR."
Yeah.
So
I have 3 screws in my hip, and they basically like suction cut the ball of my femur back into my hip joint.
Yeah.
And I have to do it on the other side at some point. But
so this is a total role reversal.
Yeah.
Where you were learning this dependency on Christ, because if I remember correctly, it was right after you made your first commitment to Christ when your first leg injury or
it was like right after I got baptized. Yeah.
And now you're walking, life is good, you're an adjustment, and now you're the one that's under the knife.
Yeah. And then so then I know I'm not going to be able to play football again. Like I could try, but in reality I knew I wasn't going to get playing time. So I just had a conversation with our head coach, and he was like super great, understanding. He's like, "Well, why don't you just come be around and like try to be like a spiritual leader to some of the younger guys?" So that's what I did. Yeah. And then
it was that easy.
Yeah.
It was hard. You went through a bit of a...
Well, yeah, it was hard like not being out there at first, just because that spring ball, it was like I was getting reps sometimes with the 1s, but a lot with the 2s. So I knew I would have played some at least. So like during the season, that was a little hard. I think it helped. I was also on crutches for over half the season. So I was like, okay. Like
at least I got an excuse and you can see it.
Yeah, exactly. Like this guy doesn't have a rolled ankle or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like after that, like that gave me a ton of purpose though. Like I was still excited to go to practice. He still let me lift with the team over the summer, like the next summer afterwards.
Yeah.
Which was like amazing.
What an insightful coach.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, to see that that's not only a need. So is that where, because the first I'd heard about you, I think I saw you because you were on the field last fall, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the one and only football game I've ever been to at my alma, because they didn't have football when I was there, is my brother and my father were like, "Oh, we got tickets. We're going to this football game." And Charlie was down there doing the, "Hey, bro, when I played, when I played and when I played, and all that." And he was waving to us and stuff. But so I probably saw the back of your head
probably
at one point. Or he might have went, "Hey, look up there. Yeah, those are my fam."
He probably did, honestly.
It's just how he rolls.
Yeah.
So you're now in virtually a chaplain role.
Yeah. And our university started like an athlete chaplain program, and I was a part of that.
Yeah, they were like the guinea pigs, which was cool.
Yeah, so that was super cool. A guy who graduated on the baseball team, like asked the university if they'd like bring him on because he was like getting his master's or something now. And they're like, "Yeah, let's see how it goes." So he would invite kids from each sport.
Wow.
And for whatever reason, like he couldn't find football players. And like,
it's because most of them are pagans.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Just come on.
That's why I didn't have one for such a long time. But no.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So that was awesome.
Yeah. So was that the last 2 years you were at IW? You were doing chaplain role?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or 2
Well,
years?
it was the second year was the surgery. Right out of surgery,
and
rehab.
Then we started the chaplaincy program that winter. So, or that's when I joined it. Yeah. That's when I found out about it.
And you're getting ministry reps.
Ministry reps. But like during this whole time, like Gabby and I went through like a big, like, I don't know, we really leaned on the Lord during that season. And like at the start of school, I was like talking to her about kids.
Yeah.
And she's like,
yeah, this was just like 2 months after his surgery.
Yeah. And she's like, "No."
Yeah. And Brayden always like, usually starts out as like joking around. Like he's like, "Oh, what do you think about having kids in college?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not."
Yeah.
So, because I was going to school at that time, and I was like, "All right, as of now, I'm gonna just tough it out and finish." But I was just having a hard time. Like, not that I was letting grades slip or anything, but I just like the sitting and doing things when like I just want to be out doing the actual ministry was super hard for me. So I would tell Brayden things like, I don't know if I'm going to go back to school, like maybe get my associates at, most. But yeah. And then it was like, he continued the joke. And usually I know when Brayden's serious about something because it keeps coming up.
I keep bringing it up.
So once it came up like for the third time, and it was like right when we had our, Summit Week?
Summit, yeah.
Brayden's like, no, I'm actually serious. Can we have a conversation about this? And I was like, okay, I'll give you a conversation. And he was like, I actually feel really like ready to be a dad. And I just want you to know that. And I was like, okay, I'm not ready, but I'm willing to, like, we did a prayer and fast over the decision. And I said, I'll give 21 days to the decision.
And so explain that, because we have people who listen to this podcast have no idea what you mean when you say a prayer and fast.
She's like, I'll give you 21 days. We wake up at 5 a.m. and pray every day.
Pray every day.
And then
together.
And then fast a meal.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a breakfast, lunch, even a snack.
Or just like something maybe that like when we were, had downtime, we would turn to just instead of that being like, okay, God, what do you
Now is the fasting, because people have got the fasting guide from us before.
Yeah.
Is that just to tell God you're really, really serious? Or is that to make God do something?
No. It's just like, the way we looked at it was like, hey, God, we're going to give you our time during this season.
Yeah.
You can do what you want with it.
It's just the dependency of it.
But we're going to depend on you and what you want to do with that.
Yeah. And for me, it was like, okay, God, like when I'm like, have my mind made up about something, it's really hard for me to like give that up to a different outcome. So
you've already been God and made the decision.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what your heart.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Like,
when I've made up my mind.
I'm not having a kid right now. Yeah. So then it was like, okay, God, like I'm going to give up things right now and fully depend on you to give you room to work on my heart, to change that posture. If that's, even if we got to the end of it and it was like, okay, not right now, I knew that no matter what, the outcome was going to be good because I'd have a different outlook on it, a more
nice.
So a lot of mine too was based out of fear, saying no to kids, because when I was going through my medical stuff, I went through so much like scans and medicine, like medical, like, medicine and, drugs I had to take and surgeries. And I remember like right before we got married, I had like just a regular checkup with my normal doctor. And I just had a question like, hey, like, does this stuff affect having kid? Like,
you're about to be married.
Yeah.
This is information I'd like to know.
She told me that more times than not, sometimes like, things like that can build trauma. And so she was like, it could be very well possible that you have a very hard time, having kids, getting pregnant, things like that. So, and just like the stress hormone, like you can't produce both at the same time. So like that was another thing, is that my body went through so much stress that she's like, I can't tell you if, you're going to have to like unlearn so much to be able to allow the, baby making hormones to, take place. But
I loved how she just explained that into like a dude that's not medical. I completely understood that. You use no scientific terms. That was outstanding.
So,
so
we were
at the end of 21 days. Was it like a shining?
We didn't
light?
make it 21 days.
I think the cool thing too was though we had two friends who joined us at 5 a.m. Yeah. Not like in our house, but like they would send us a text at 5 a.m. I'm up praying with you guys.
Wow.
Yeah,
and
they
it was
committed.
every day. I think we made it 17 days, and she's like, "I'm ready."
Yeah, 17 days, and I was like, "All right, I think,
wow."
I feel like this is something that I'm holding on to, and it's not like a God-driven decision for me to say no.
That's got to be big because, like I said, Christian college is not cheap.
No.
And to go home, you're flying or taking the long drive.
Yeah.
You've already flown to Colorado for the surgery. And, most college students don't have 2 pennies to rub together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're still on the meal plan.
Yep.
And so, but you're sensing God say, green light, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I was like terrified at first. Like I told Brayden, like, this is scary because I don't want to be the couple that we get 6 months in and we're still having a hard time. Like that was just a fear of mine because I didn't want, it was the whole like disappointing him that I was struggling with in my head. Like I don't want to feel like, you know, there's something wrong with me or I'm disappointing him. Not that that would ever be the case, but
it's a real fear.
Yeah.
It's
So
a total
fear was what held me back. And at Summit Week was like a huge, and that was like actually that week I also went through, that was the last time I went through my one of my huge episodes medically, like nerve related. And I was just like, it was a really cool season of life of like, okay, dependency on the Lord is what we're learning. And he completely shifted my heart. And I told Brayden and he was so pumped. Like he's like, I'm so ready to be a dad. So
football's done.
Yeah.
I'm ready for a rocking chair. And a
but
pipe.
it was, we didn't tell we didn't tell anybody. We were just like, I think we told like our best friends, we were like, hey, like if you guys could just be praying for us in this season that, you know, we step into. And I like made an appointment to go to like the family planning appointment where we're like, all right, like, you know, everything looks good. Just because I was so much trauma from medical things that went on. I just like, and it's still a struggle sometimes for me, like making sure I'm at my healthiest peak for things like that because it's just like the whole control thing for me is still really hard with the medical stuff. So, but we didn't even make it to that appointment. I was calling that I was pregnant before that.
Really?
So,
Doctor, no, listen, nerve damage, drugs, no factor. God has spoken. Boom, you're pregnant. Are you excited?
Oh my gosh. We were, it was crazy too. So we went on a retreat with the Kern in November, end of October.
Yeah.
And like, I was not really myself.
No, not at all.
And like, I remember we got back, went to church. It wasn't time for us to take a test. And then I like at church, remember like just so clearly being like, I have to take one today. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I just feel like I'm pregnant. So then, I took one by myself. Brayden was like doing homework on the couch. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, every woman knows that moment where you're just like, oh crap. Like, I am
this
actually.
This is real.
So
I have entered the chute.
Yeah.
It's like a chute in the rodeo. There's no getting out of it.
Nope.
The next thing that's going to happen is that gate's going to open. You're riding the bull.
Yeah. But it was such a surreal moment for me too, just like having that time of just like with God. God and I were the only ones that knew. Wow. And it was such a cool moment to be like, you know, thank you, God. Like your like grace is so sufficient. Like just to know that, you know, we knew right from the bat that Harper was a miracle. Just the fact that I got pregnant right away and
no complications either.
Like, and I also found out I had a blood clotting disorder called factor V. And a lot of times.
Of course you do.
And so sometimes those leads to like miscarriages or issues later in the pregnancy or like carrying full term can cause just like issues in late term pregnancy as well. And so it wasn't like a one moment dependency on the Lord. Like it was a
all the way through.
Dependency
it wasn't
on
like,
the Lord.
we had a baby and then happily ever after.
I had to give her shots every day.
I had to do blood thinning shots.
You had to give shots?
Every single day.
And I hate needles. It was worse.
And at some point it became 2 a day because they swapped me because they were getting me ready for my induction. So it was morning and night, and those ones hurt so bad. But so like, you know, our appointment was very much like, okay, how do we do this with a medical issue that could, you know, put me as a high risk? So I wasn't labeled high risk, but they were like, you're a potential high risk. So that's usually what it is with factor V. So, and sometimes even just having factor V can make it hard to have kids. So we were up against a lot, but it's just really cool to see God, you know, nothing's too big for him. Like we always are. We heard the saying, like, if the tomb is empty, anything is possible. So that's just what we base.
If the tomb is empty, anything is possible. I like that little phrase. It's well done. So Harper's born last summer.
Yes. Yeah. So I finished out school, and then we got to December. I finished out that semester pregnant, and then I was like, I can't go back to school. Like, I just want to keep my stress as little as possible.
Smart. Yeah.
Just take care of my body and Harper. We told our family over Christmas break, and I was almost 12 weeks pregnant.
You were 12 weeks.
So we kept a secret from our family
Wow.
for that long.
Somebody's mom is mad.
Which, yes, I would never recommend, one, because that was so hard on us.
Yeah, we'd be on FaceTime. I'm like, just do it.
I'm like, I can't. They will appreciate the in person.
Yeah.
And they were so mad. Yeah. Like when we told them, they're just like, oh my gosh. And then
it was
how
a mad
far
happy,
along
though,
are you?
Yeah,
and I'm like, 12 weeks. And they're like, what?
Yeah. We wanted to tell you in person.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that. Why didn't you tell me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then that was fun. And then, just rode out the spring. Really just, that was like the most low key our life has ever been.
Yeah.
And had Harper. I was induced at 39 weeks, just because I didn't want to dance around with the possibility of complications later. And out came 6 pound
Harper.
6 pound Harper, 7 ounce
6
Harper,
pound
6
Harper.
pound, 7 ounce
What's
Harper.
her middle name?
Harper Lynn.
Harper Lynn.
Yeah.
Harper Lynn Cromwell.
Yep.
Yeah. And so were you pumped to be a dad?
Yeah. I was so scared to hold her once she was actually here. I was like,
you got those big meaty tight end
so
paws.
fragile.
Like you're tight end because you got good hands, bro.
Squish her and break her bones or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Harper was and actually I should backtrack. Harper ended up having a soft marker for like a cyst in her brain when we had our 20 week scan. Mm-hmm. And so that was another moment where we just had to depend on the Lord and our OB did great. She's like, most of the time these things just, disappear later in pregnancy. And I was so nervous because I had to get genetic testing done to make sure it wasn't anything like bad. And then that came back clear. So we knew, okay, nothing, not to worry about anything. So, but that was another thing that was really hard. And then we head into, the rest of the pregnancy went well, and then had Harper. And at 6 days old, she ended up having to have a surgery.
Getting put under.
Yeah. Under anesthesia.
For the cyst?
Mm-mm.
No.
She had a weird tongue thing. I can't explain it.
Yeah, they called it a hamartoma, and basically the root was like a wart, but they didn't know that at first.
No.
Yeah. So.
And it kept growing, and each day was getting bigger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck is this thing? And the first thing the nurse says after Harper's born is Harper's crying and has this thing coming out of her mouth. I've never seen this before. And then Gabby starts freaking out.
Yeah, that was the first thing she
said. You're 22 years old.
And she's an old nurse.
Okay.
Probably in her 60s. Saying, I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
I've birthed a freak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got a hamartoma. Right? That's what you call it.
That's what they call the hammer.
Matt, you got a hamartoma someplace? Yeah, not that you're aware of.
But it was, I mean, we were just,
It just blows my mind that, God's got something. Because I'm going back to podcast 194. Mm-hmm. That God has uniquely positioned you.
Yeah.
Because not only are you talking about this, but you know how many people would have already checked out.
Yeah.
Of now he's got surgery, she had two, she's got surgery. Now the baby's got a surgery. We're like surgery family.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Just as broken.
But
it's so
and I'm not just trying to hype you because you're on our staff, but it's one of the things, and I'm jumping ahead just a little bit. I don't want to jump ahead, but it's one of the things that's so endearing about you guys is because you keep coming back to this dependency thing, and what I sense is joy. Mm-hmm. It isn't like there's two responses when the next hammer drops. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Another thing, it was the joy of pregnancy. I had to have all these shots. They were super painful. Brayden hates needles. He's got to give them. We have to have this baby early. Of course we do. Yeah. And then hamartoma, and of course you're going to freak out. Yeah. But one of the things that's just so endearing about you both is at 23.
Yeah.
You're both 23, right?
Both 23, yeah.
There's this incredible maturity in depending on Christ.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And not that just depending on Christ will make everything go away.
No,
and we'll
for sure
not get to that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if in college I had any of the tools to respond the way you guys have responded. So praise the Lord for that.
I think too, just seeing God's miraculous hand work in my life through my medical stuff. Who am I to question, what he's going to do, in Harper's life or in Braid's life or even in my own life and that stuff. It was just, and I always felt like I knew, praying, and I kept a prayer journal through my pregnancy actually. And like the stories that I can tell going back to that prayer journal, like, oh, he answered that, he answered that, he answered that. And even into Harper's like situation later, he's answered that so faithfully in ways that, one, we haven't expected, but also expected him to do something, not knowing what that looked like.
Yeah. Like her eye, for example.
Yeah. Tell us about the eye.
So she has surgery, 6 days old. What was it?
So
3 months later.
Yeah. So that week was crazy too, because literally we got home next day after the hospital. We're in another hospital, finding out she has to go under, and that's always big and scary. That surgery went great. Took her home. She recovered great. And then just like, 3 months old. And it's funny too, because I kept telling Brayden once Harper was old enough, like about 8 weeks, to really, they do the first time smiling and the looking at you. Harper wasn't really doing that stuff. And I was just like, I don't know, Brayden, like, is there, like, maybe she's like can't see right, like great. We were just like questioning her eyesight, and
well, you were. I'm like,
Brayden's
she's fine.
like, she's fine. She's literally a baby. Yeah. And I'm
it's
like,
a baby.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
just
like,
try not to break her.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like she just almost at some point too, like she would almost look like she was looking for you.
Well, you thought she had a lazy eye.
Yes, we thought she had a lazy eye, and then which she kind of did, but it's been, she grew out of that. But 4 months old, I talked to her pediatrician, and we're just like, okay, let's just get her in for an eye exam. Like, not saying they do much at 4 months old,
right?
But at least they can make sure that it's nothing serious. And we took her in like November, I think.
Yeah, November.
Yeah, and literally like they do the whole dilation, and at first they're like, oh yeah, we kind of see the lazy eye. Lazy eye ran in my side of the family, and so we're just like, okay, not surprising. And then we dilate the eye. She's looking at her eye, and you can tell that they see something because they were looking for so long.
Yeah.
And then
they're like
she kind of
closer. It wasn't just a click. Okay,
no,
she's good.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
and
wait.
then she kind of like rolls back, and she's like, yeah. She's like, it just looks like her optic nerve didn't quite like develop properly, or like it took, like the way she described it was that the day that the eyes are supposed to fully form, it looks like for whatever reason her left eye took a skip day on that day. So of course Brayden and I are just like, you're kidding.
I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah. And she was just like, I want to try and get an image of her eye before you guys go. And then we had another conversation after the image so she could show us. But so she leaves the room, and Brayden and I are just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I just don't think we're ever going to get a break. So, but even then it was just like,
Well, you had a hard time because on the way home, you're like, how can we trust God?
Yeah, I did.
And I just so happened to be like reading this book on like God's healing.
Yeah.
And I was like, turn to page 52. And
and it was all about just like, what does healing mean? Like, what do we expect healing to look like in our earthly bodies, right? It's like always physical. That's always what we draw to.
And I think it goes back to the sermon in Acts, though.
Yeah.
Like what you guys covered with revolutionary healing, how it happens in ways we don't always expect. And that the biggest healing is a spiritual healing. And that's kind of like what the book was talking about. Or like God's healing looks different than our healing.
Wow.
And I think that like really hit you.
And like, after we saw the image of her eye, because at this point we still didn't know what they were really seeing. They showed us, and it literally looks like a big hole in the middle of her eye.
Wow.
And it's just because the optic nerve didn't fully develop. And she was just like, yeah, I mean, she's probably going to be blind in that eye. She won't see out of that eye. And then we were told that 6 months old, she's going to have to get an MRI to make sure that nothing else behind the eye is going on. Because they said this is the worst one they had seen.
Wow.
In a little kid like that. So we were just like, of course it is.
We signed papers so they could do a case study.
Yeah.
And like present it to their class. Because it's like the IU hospital.
Yeah.
Where they do all
it's a good place to.
Yeah. So, obviously.
But I love that fact that you just told us that you're human.
Yeah.
In the car. That's a very natural human and mom, new mother reaction. How can we trust God?
I started, I called my mom in the car, and of course, like my mom's like, all right, what did we find out? And I started crying because I'm just like, this is just so much. Like being so far away from our support system, like we didn't have family around us. It was just like, not only were we learning to, depend fully on God as new parents, but then it was like we were having to just depend on, I was depending on him to be the leader in those moments and to lead us well in those seasons, and to also just be there as new parents, like figuring it out, and, having Harper, who now we have to make really big decisions for somebody who can't even give her input or opinion. Yeah. So it was like the decisions we make now affect her for the rest of her life. And that weighed really heavy on us.
And then at the same time, just to give, and I'm not trying to make it my story, or not my story, or insert myself into your story. But my understanding is at this time, not only do you have football players leaning on you as a chaplain, you have, both of you have other students that you're pouring into. Yeah. Because the way Uncle Charlie, when I first heard the name Braydon and Gabby Cromwell, was they're like his words, they're like my youth ministry assistants. Because all the other young singles in college, oh, that girl won't look at me. Oh, that boy broke up with me. I mean, they're all coming to you. And you're like, okay, hang on a minute. I've got a child, and this child has a serious eye issue. And so there's a lot of people pulling on you already. You're already doing ministry. You came out I don't want to say the finished article, but you came out fully prepped because you're doing ministry with people one-on-one, but you're already going through it at the same time. And that's a lot of things people don't see, is that pastors and their spouses or ministry staff and their husbands, whatever that looks like, they have lives too. They got marriages they're trying to keep together too. They've got kids with issues, as well, and you're trying to serve. It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool too, though. Like the people that we were pouring into, it was a cool situation to see them speaking into us and like giving us reminders of almost like what we say to them.
Don't you hate that? Yeah, I've had it happen. Yeah, hey, you told me one time, John, when I'm having a bad moment, and I'm like, don't. Oh.
You're like,
you're quoting me.
Did I really say that?
Did I say that?
But it was, well, I wasn't in it. And it was cool too, because like we knew when they were like, we're walking this with you guys and praying, like that it was true, because that's just like we felt their support and their community. So, but it was hard. The drive home, I was just like, the more things just keep happening, I was like, I just have a harder time, like this is just one of those moments right now. I'm having a hard time trusting God with this. Like, how am I? And I worded it like, how, like when you become a parent, it's like you want so badly to protect them from everything. Yeah. And it's like you have to understand how much more God loves them. But it's so hard to be like, yes, I get to be her mom, but like ultimately the love of God is so much greater. And I have to just be like, God, she's your child first. Like and I told Brayden, I was like, how do I say, God, I trust you with this when like, you think in your head, if I played God, like I just take this away. Right. But it's like, we both had walked through things that spiritually matured us, and we became ultimately who God was calling us to be through those valleys and seasons of life. So it was just like, the conversation of like, God must have such amazing things planned for her.
Yeah. I think our prayer went from like, obviously God, like we prayed for healing, like physical healing. For sure. Yes. Like not going to negate that. We prayed for that, but like God, even if you don't, we're going to trust on you. And we just ask that you use her. Yeah. Like, and it was more for a living testimony to bring glory to you.
Yep. It was more of a like, God, okay, like if we don't see the physical healing, how can we, guide us in these decisions?
Or how can she lead others to see your goodness even in this?
Yeah. So that's what ultimately became our prayer. And then
it still is.
Yeah. Still to this day. Yeah. So, so we went, through that at 6 months old. That was hard. I really struggled with putting Harper under anesthesia at 6 months old because it's just a lot of risks. Yeah. And just with little ones, there's risks always. Yeah. So literally just like seeing her in a little hospital gown and she's just smiley Harper because she just has no idea. And then just like having to walk away, you're just like, oh my gosh, like it's just terrible feeling. But
and also during this time, you are looking for a job. because we're right around Christmas of your, you know, you're starting to get serious. You're doing interviews.
Yeah.
There's something that you shared, the 3.
Daniel 3.
Yeah, Daniel 3. The whole, we will never bow. I mean, the 3 men threatened, or the 3 young men for the audience threatened with the fire for not bowing down to the graven image, not worshiping Nebuchadnezzar and what he wanted them to worship.
Yeah.
But I think it was there where they said, we will never bow down. Our Lord is able to save us from the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even
if you don't,
he does not.
Yeah.
So they had the faith.
Yeah.
But they also had faith if they were chosen to die in the fire.
Yeah.
You know, type of deal. That's the type of faith we're all called to.
Yeah.
That's the deny yourself, take up your cross and follow me. And I'm also thinking about the fact that if we truly believe in the sovereignty of God, then, you know, I think I talked about this in a sermon just a couple weeks ago, where people will say something in whatever situation, I don't have the tools for this. And it's like, you know, there's the cliche, God won't give you more than you can handle.
Right.
And that's a lie.
Yeah, it is.
God will give you way more than you can handle, but he'll never give you more than he can handle. And taking you that deeper place of trust. But at the same time, there's a reason he's positioned you with what you've gone through, and Harper. There's no better parents at 22 for Harper than you, because either God is good or he's not. And he's decided that you're the ones that he's uniquely gifted if you depend on him. It works both ways.
Yeah.
And so seeing that, I mean, I would just see marriages be shattered, I mean, all the time without Christ because of just what you've been through, or the fact that you were even married. I mean, I'm going back to 194 when you were like, hey, I've done this leg thing once. It ain't pretty. You may not want to stick around. That took dependency and trust in both of you, trust in God, but you know, because you didn't know.
No.
Yeah.
No clue.
I mean, you're a little Twitter pated. You're in love.
Yeah.
You know, whatever, babe. Even without a leg. You know, come on. You know?
Yeah.
But you still didn't know, so that took trust.
Yeah.
And then you trusting him and trusting her.
Yeah.
And, so
a lot of it too is like, I think Brayden and I do a really good job at, you know, even in the midst of, like, we're not perfect. Like, you know, we'd get in arguments about things, and, you know, we would not show up the way that we both needed at times. And it was just a lot of like not taking things personal, because we both handle that trauma differently. So I think there was just, I mean, we try really hard to just understand God's grace to the best of our ability, so we can extend that grace in between us in those moments, especially being postpartum. He's in school full time, other responsibilities. Now he's telling me, actually, I don't want to go back to master's. Let's find a job.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he's graduating in 3 months, and Harper's going through this. And I'm just like, holy cow. Like, we're just on a train.
The master's thing.
Okay.
But
we'll talk about that.
Yeah. So it was just, a very unique situation for us being in college, but also like, just, we just have always, I feel like that's just a repetitive theme in our life of like, okay, like, this is a time
Almost
of full
like,
dependency.
next?
Yeah, for sure. And so, but, you know, I don't think you, like, you know, from the time we got to IWU to now, it's like understanding that there is no like gap in full dependency on God. It's a constant everyday thing.
Yeah.
Where you're waking up.
But in that
I'm
moment,
depending on you.
You don't realize that you're depending on him.
Not till you look back. A lot of our things, when we look back, or I look back at what journals I've kept, I'm like, that's just so cool, God.
Was there a moment, and maybe you already said this and I didn't catch it, but was there a moment for you, Gabby, where you're like taking, not responsibility, but is there a voice somewhere in your flesh, somewhere in your mind that's saying, this is my fault?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I think after
I did something wrong. I'm
after
broken.
The
medical stuff that I went through. Yeah.
After the first appointment with Harper, when we found out she had an issue and was going to be blind, needed glasses, and this was before we found out even more extensive stuff, I was definitely like, you know, what did I do wrong? Like, was there something I was lacking in the pregnancy? Did what I go through cause issues? Like, is this going to happen more with future kids? Like, all those things. But ultimately, it was just like, I feel like understanding that nothing like that comes from God. But it's like we have a very real enemy that when we're at our weakest, he uses everything we say outside of our mouth.
Yeah.
So it's like the moment I said that, Brayden does a good job at being like, careful what you say because, as soon as you say it, the enemy will use it. So it was just very much a like, we're not even going to go there. Like, we're not even going to allow you to go there because...
I would
by the
get
way, that's good
so
theology,
mad.
too.
I would get so mad when
can't
she
read
would
your
say
mind.
that. Yeah.
No, he
He
doesn't
can't
have
read your
that
mind,
power. Yeah.
But he's got little minions listening.
Yeah.
So that's the
point.
thing, too, is like whenever I was struggling with fear or anxiety, I'm like, it's because I've spoken this. Like, and it's, it's countering scripture to that. Like, this isn't from God. God doesn't drive with fear, anxiety. Like, it's only peace and comfort and, his guidance. So it was...
I was like, go read the Psalms.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Up, down, up, down,
yeah.
up, down.
So it was just
up,
like,
up, down,
I
down,
had to
down.
battle that, like, let go of that. Who am I to say, like, this is my fault? Like, that's not who God is. That's not how he works. And ultimately, I find that as, like, don't insult, God with him ever
good.
doing that. Like, why would he ever make a situation like that,
Right.
to the point where, like, you get to take responsibility for issues like that and make it all negative. So,
Even when the doctor tells you that
yeah.
it's not genetic.
Yeah. And she said that. Yeah. Because
Well,
I asked her, that was the first question out of my mouth. I was like, is this something that I did wrong? And she was like, no, like, this isn't like a genetic or hereditary thing. Like, where it was like, she's like, literally, it's like a skip day.
Yeah.
Like, for whatever reason.
Sin has infected all of creation.
Yeah.
And so people that don't have that theological underpinning, I just said underpinning on a podcast, but that understanding, that truth can fall so easily into that.
Man, yeah. And you feel
so
like
you're
a prisoner.
this is just last Christmas that you're going through this.
Yeah.
So spring semester, I think, we'd been looking for a youth pastor forever. And I think I've heard this stat that there's like one youth pastor for every 4 churches in America. So you're a hot commodity, and you're trying to decide where are we going to go. We're going back to Montana. We're going to graduate, or are we going to go to Florida? I think that was in the mix.
Yeah.
That was actually like, that's where we're going to go.
Yeah.
That was
That was
before
the
we
plan.
found out about like the tab and everything.
Yeah.
But like that's where we went on spring break.
Yeah.
We're going to go get a feel for this place to make sure.
What was the place? Come on, we're going to talk trash right here.
Well, we went to
Because he can beat me in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And he's all over my reels.
We went to
'Cause I like
Orlando and we knew they were planning a church in Orlando.
Who are they?
Church of
1122.
Yeah.
1122.
So
Pastor Joe B. Martin.
Yes.
What a cool name.
Yeah.
Super cool name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we go to Orlando, spend a week there. And my mom and little brother and cousin flew down and hung out with us, so that was super fun. But then when they left, we also drove up to Jacksonville to go to the main campus.
Wow.
And I'm like, I'm just going to meet him. I'm going to go up to him
Introduce
after
myself.
church.
And this was after
just-
Brayden had applied, had his first interview.
Yeah, I just had my first interview that week.
Yeah.
But like, he obviously doesn't know that. They're like
Yeah.
insanely.
It's a huge
yeah.
church. Yeah. And it's a great church, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I'm
Yeah.
a fan of a lot of his leadership stuff. I first heard him on a podcast
Yeah.
that has influenced me.
Yeah.
Just with some of his responses to why churches are so big. If you don't know who Joe B. Martin is, we recommend him. He's solid theologically.
Yeah.
He preaches forever, bro. Let's be
An
honest.
hour. We sat.
Yes.
It was like an hour and 15 minutes
Yeah.
of him preaching, not counting the
No.
music.
Yep.
No, I would love to have a talk with him and do a little sermon breakdown because he gives 5 sermons in every sermon.
Yeah.
But
This is,
different styles, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
It's good enough for Tim Tebow. It's probably good enough for us, right? He goes to that church. We get it, Tim. Yeah. But that's where you think you're going.
that's where like I don't know, like at first like we're like we want to be a part of something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they're
Yeah, the
doing
different
so
ministries,
much,
yeah.
like so many different
Yep.
opportunities.
A church gets bigger and then the budget gets bigger. And
Yep.
what they've done well with it is not just make their name bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying this because obviously we won, but it isn't just to prop them up. They do so much in the community to be a force for good within the community.
They have
you know?
over like 12 jail ministries where they live stream church to these prisons. So just like lots of different opportunities within the church, and they're planning campuses like rapid fire all over Florida, specifically northern Florida. But so we're in Orlando, drive to Jacksonville, and St. Augustine is a little south of Jacksonville, and we know they're planning a campus there as well. And after this interview, we're like, okay, we're probably going to be in Orlando, St. Augustine, or Palatka, which I guess is like the armpit of Florida.
Yeah.
That's what we've heard.
So at first,
the Redneck Riviera.
Yeah. Yeah. So we go to church, and it was like super funny because their church is in an old Walmart, huge. And like, it's super like, this is what I love about the church too. It's not like flashy. It's like,
no smoke machines, Matt. That's what that means.
But
no people being let down out of the ceiling on surfboards.
It was cool though because we
was
knew
just super basic. But like we're looking around because it's like huge, and this lady's like, "Are you guys new here?" In deep Southern accent.
Yeah.
And we're like, "Yeah," and like she's like, "Okay," and she took us, and we got to sit inside the sanctuary before anyone else. And I was like kind of like upset because I'm like, I want to go like explore. But we get this like, I don't know, I'm going to call it VIP treatment. Where we get to pick our seats before
all the masses.
All the masses come in. So that was cool. Then we sit in, and then service is over. And then I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to go talk to him now because like nerves start to kick in. Like, but we did.
Yeah.
We went up.
Yeah.
Just
super awesome.
Yeah. And like talked to him. And then he like asked what we do, told him ministry major. He's like, what's after college? Told him I actually had an interview there, and he's like, man, if they let me interview, I'd go interview you in the back room right now.
He's not allowed to.
I was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm like a car salesman. That's why they don't let me do the interviews.
But
same. I was just informed I no longer do interviews, but let's go on.
While all this is going on, Charlie informs me that he has mentioned my name to you guys.
Well, he was, back up. Charlie literally looked at Brayden and was like, dude, why didn't you tell me that you were ready for a job? He's like, I literally have the place for you.
Yeah.
Really?
He's like, I have the place.
Because I called him in fall, and I called him in January. Yeah, sorry, keep going.
Well, at first, I was more so deciding whether internship, residency, because I'm thinking master's is still a possibility. So I'm like, I'm not going to give churches false hope and start interviewing till I know.
And you want to go to Florida, which I don't blame you.
Yeah. So
for one, there's no snow.
But it is funny though how like our shift of like this is great to I don't know if I want to raise my kids here.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if this is a place
there's
where
a lot of Florida men in that church. You've heard about Florida man?
Yeah. So
I'm kidding, Joby.
He's from Georgia or South Carolina, actually.
It's obvious.
But anyways,
in the accent, and the hunting.
Yeah. So this is all going on, and then I tell Charlie that I applied, and he's like, "Dude, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
I got the perfect place for you." And then he like calls you guys, whatever, and
it was like, bro, it was literally at a common ground. I think was happening that night. There was a common ground. Which is when all of our campuses youth come together. Yeah. And I grabbed Adam Ray and returned Charlie's phone call in the green room or back by the truck where Matt is king and with all the tech stuff. And I had it on speaker, and it was this, bro, I have got the best youth ministry power couple that I have ever graduated, bro. I mean, it was just like, and he wasn't trying to sell.
Yeah.
And Adam Ray, sorry, I'm giving you the other side, is the most careful when it comes to, I mean, there's some candidates we've had that he has said, not even close, but we'll interview him and go through the process. And then there were some that, and I've never heard him and he'd never spoken with Charlie in his life. He doesn't know him from Adam.
Yeah.
When he was done, he was like, I think this is going to be our guy. And I'm like, okay, we got 3 other candidates. Because honestly, on Charlie's word, it would have been for me because he's my brother-in-law. I've known him forever. Yeah. But that's how highly you came recommended. But I've never seen a Ray be like, I think this is our guy. Yeah. And I'm like, you just told me that you had 2 guys that were going to be a tough call between the 2. You like them both. And he's like, I got a feeling.
Yeah.
Or whatever, however he said it.
Yeah. The crazy thing too was while we're on spring break, I interview with 1122 over the phone. Next day, Adam Ray calls me.
And just wants to get to know.
Like interviews me, gets to know me type thing. And then
and we're like, okay, he's nice.
Yeah,
like,
I look at her. I'm like, oh boy, what are we doing?
and I'm like, don't even bring me into this right
And
now.
I see his
Like,
because
we're
I
on
know
vacation.
you wanted city. You wanted city.
I mean,
more
I
so.
wanted, like, I just wanted and also too, like, not to go down a rabbit hole, but like when I thought about sports ministry and like what I was building, I was like, okay, where's the
People.
opportunity?
Yeah.
Probably
Lots of people.
lots of people. In my mind, that's what I was thinking, when in reality, that's just not the case. But like, I was just very much like, okay, that's what I was always looking at, because I had my call to ministry. So I was like, where's the opportunity for me to step into, because that's never gone away, the call to ministry. So like, where do I fit into the obedience like that God's called me to? So I was just, obviously we were in Florida. I was like, this is great. Like there's so many people, so many colleges, so many athletes. So yeah, I was literally like, I'm not even going to say anything. And
You're from Los Angeles.
And I wanted Brayden to, like, as much as it was, yes, obviously a choice of us both, like, I wanted him to experience the, like, Holy Spirit in those things. Like, where am I feeling, good? Like, so.
Yeah. And then, so me and Adam schedule time to come up to Buckley.
Bucktucky is not Jacksonville, Florida.
And we come up, it's rainy the whole time we're here.
It was a crappy weekend.
We drive through, and I'm like, was that seriously it? Because, like, my hometown, you got 2 miles to work with.
Yeah.
But, like, Buckley, it's like,
gone. Blinking light.
Yeah.
Red
And
one
then-
way, yellow
Yeah,
the
we
other.
turned to go to Traverse.
Yeah,
and
because that's
Braden's
where we
like,
stayed the first night.
Braden's like, where? Because then I think we turned around
We
to
didn't
drive
tell
by
you
the
guys we
church.
came up a day before, so we could come check it out.
Yeah. And literally, Brayden was like, where's Buckley? And I was like, we just drove through it. And he started laughing because he knew.
I knew she was like, this
because
isn't
Brayden
it.
always joked about going home and moving to Scobie and just being the next Lutheran pastor there. And
So
I was
you're
like,
telling
no.
me Buckley's smaller than Scobie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's
And I was like, Braydon Cromwell.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's hilarious.
What are you getting us into? But yeah, once we went out to eat with Adam and Rachel Ray, and like after that conversation, we get in the car and I looked at Brayden and I was like,
got a lot harder.
I was like, this is home, huh? And he's like, hold on. And I
Hold
was
on.
like,
I'm like, I haven't even interviewed yet.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they're gonna offer me a job yet.
I was like, so if they offer you the job, I was like, what are you feeling? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I just don't want to say anything, because he was so scared of what I was.
Because I knew she did not want to leave the small town.
Yeah.
But then so interview Sunday, we drive home Monday morning, and she's just talking about like, I think this is where we need to be.
Yeah.
Really?
The whole drive home, I was just like, I just feel like this is like a great place. Like, I just always thought big picture. Like, where do we want to raise kids?
Great place, great staff, great
Who's
people.
going to take care of us? Where are we going to find community? Because we had been a part of communities where, we weren't finding community, even though we were, there and invested. But we just left there, and just like after talking to you and the other pastors and just seeing the youth and everything, it was just like, okay, like, I just feel like this place,
we're gonna fit.
We're going to fit, and we can come in, and like we've always talked about the job out of college would be the place we go with intentions to set roots down
Nice.
for however long, like forever. If that's like, we wait till God literally pries us away from a place.
That's good. It's a way to be.
So we were just like, okay, the youth, like, we need consistency, and like we want to be their consistency, like, so
Because that was a big deal for us. We a lot of turnover. It's just natural in youth men.
Yeah.
They see ambitious for the kingdom people like you, and after 1-2 years of ministry, the offers, they just start coming. Oh, be a young adult. So that would be so much easier than with students. Or, hey, come and be a teaching pastor, or come be the big one. And God bless the church trying to plant all these churches, but there's so many guys that cut ministry short by going into church planting before they're even 30 years old, which is that's as hard as being a missionary.
Yeah.
But as I recall, like when we met you, that's when we first learned about Harper, to take it back to Harper's eye issue. And at that point, you were facing, she may lose her eye.
Yep. So after her MRI, they showed us, so back at the Christmas time, they were like, all right, this is worse than we thought. She's probably going to lose her eye. And at that point, it was like years down the road. So we were like, okay, at least, we'll get to a point where she probably is old enough to understand, and we can get to that bridge when we cross it. And then at her 9-month, which was right before we came up, we found out that
it's gonna be this.
That
supposed to be this summer.
She was gonna, they were like, we're gonna have to do this now. So because her vision was getting worse, and they were worried that the cyst was just gonna keep getting bigger. And at that point, that's when a lot of other structures behind the eye start getting damaged by that. So once we found out, we had a hard time with that. I specifically had a hard time having to make such a huge decision for her when it's going to affect her whole life.
Yeah.
And having to, and we knew, like, we talked about the conversations are going to come one day when she's going to be like, why? Why did this have to happen to me? Why did I have to lose my eye? And like having to look at her and explain those things, like I was just thinking so far ahead of like, how am I supposed to sit there and say, we did everything we could, and you lost your eye, but God's good. Like, how do you explain that as a parent to?
And what's crazy is, I don't want to say you guys dropped that on us casually.
Yeah.
But I could see that you seemed unperturbed. Right? I don't know if that's the right word. Not unconcerned. You were like, no, this is real. And you were very knowledgeable and you just dropped it. But it wasn't like I know that if I, or some couples might have, having gotten that information, would have said, listen, we need to postpone this.
Yeah.
But you just included her. This is part of her life. This is what we do.
Yeah.
This is a reality.
Yeah.
I could see that there was care, but there was something deeply attractive about it that, life doesn't skip us. You mentioned a skip day. There's no skip days just because you're in ministry or pursuing ministry or that you're a Christian. And so it's just like, no, we're continuing with life. And I think you told us, because when you left on that Sunday, Adam and our leadership team on Monday said, they're going to take a week to pray about it and let us know.
I did tell him that.
Yeah. And then on Tuesday morning, he goes, we got our guy. And I'm like, wait.
It was funny,
it was April Fool's Day, and I'm like, I totally should have messed with him.
Brayden's like,
really?
I should have been like, I just don't think.
Yeah.
Don't play games like that, bro.
But I mean, that's another, like, we just have always been like, okay, like.
I didn't tell her, though.
And we wanted, with Harper, like, we wanted to make sure that if this was going to happen, we wanted to be in a place with community where we could have support and just to help walk alongside us in that. So it was interesting, like going through the interviewing process, like we were also looking for that, knowing that Harper was going to have, things in the future, like who can we count on to, help us when we are struggling or when those conversations come and things like that. So, after we left, I was like, I just feel like this place is gonna, like, we're gonna be taken care of and loved well.
Just like understanding and like patient with us, because in my mind, I'm freaking out. Yeah, because like I wanted to get up here as soon as possible. Yeah, but like she's on Indiana insurance.
Yeah, and when you're a broke college student, that's very cheap.
I'm like, how are we gonna do this? Yeah, because we can't afford a surgery out of pocket, and we need the surgery.
So we were just that was that another moment of, okay, God, like, show us the way. Yeah. We'll listen to you. And it was hard.
Yeah, I was not okay with like, what, because Adam's like, well, you can wait till August if you guys really need to.
And Brayden's like, no.
I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
It was harder on him.
Yeah.
In those
and we'd have
seasons.
waited too, because I think we were part of that combo, which was, no, you do what you have to do.
Yeah.
And we'll figure it out.
Yep.
Because we knew we wanted you guys.
Yep.
And, but then you got the news.
Yeah. So literally right before we
planning
found a house, moved up here. This was in, I want to say May, because I went home.
It was May.
We went to the appointment with the like big guy, the surgeon, and we're just stressed in there and just like, what's gonna be said? How rushed are they gonna do this? I was flying home literally in 2 weeks, and I was like, are they even gonna let me fly home? And he comes in and is just like, I've seen this before in different patients. Like Harper has all three, so he's like, that's why we're watching this so closely. And then he looked at us and he was like, but I don't think she needs surgery right now. And we were just like, oh. Like,
wow.
At first the relief, and then it was like the mom, like, okay, but why? Like, what's your reasoning? Give me why you think, she's not needing this now. Is there issues? And he just was like, he just walked us through that. He said, if I were to take her eye right now, I'm not doing her anything better. He's like, I only want to do surgery when I'm doing something
to her benefit,
to benefit the patient. And he's like, this would not benefit her. He's like, we'd just be taking it to take it at this point. And he said, but the future, he's like, you could get an MRI in a year and it could be bigger. And at that point we would be like, okay, that's when we need to take it.
Yeah.
So she's not out of the woods. She's not out of the woods.
But
It'll
for
be
now,
yearly MRIs. And there's things that we have to watch for if things were to get worse that she would, show. But like he even gave us the news. He was just like, because Brayden, I think you asked, like, is there a chance, like, is it like a for sure thing that she'll lose her eye or it'll keep growing? And the surgeon was like, no. He's like, actually, it could stay the same forever. And she might not ever have to lose her eye. And so we were just praising God with that. But also, we know she won't have vision in that eye. As they say now, we have no idea. Yeah. Obviously, Harper can't talk. So it'll be really interesting when she can communicate like what she says and how much vision she actually has. But that was just a really huge, like, like we see you, God. Like you see us, we see you working. Like,
it's just like so basic, but I forget all the time. Maybe that's why I have to preach it all the time. God is a God of the past, and He's the God of right now. Yeah. So the past I can't change. Yeah. But He's already shed His blood for that, died for that, and I can't change it. The future, He's already there. Yeah. I'm not, but He's there. But the right now, like He gives us, it feels like the thread is just dependency. Yeah. Over and over and over. And so even in your statements where you're like, not out of the woods yet, but it'll be an ongoing thing. Yeah. He showed Himself faithful how many times? Yeah. To have enough to get through. Yep. And we didn't get the miraculous healing yet. Yep. But there's still, like you pointed even to the Acts series when Pastor Adam preached about this healing that God brings. Sometimes we don't see what it is. Yeah. And it could be, and this is the hard part for us because we don't get to be God, is just even in your story, just sharing it here, it could be spiritual or emotional healing for someone else. Yeah. Yep. That's the hard one when it's like, but so I walk through this so that person could find faith or greater dependency. Yeah. And He's a God like that. Yeah. He's not just a dude. It's
and what an honor that He uses you.
Oh, wow.
To
don't drop stuff like that on me. I'm not supposed to cry on podcasts.
To bring someone to know Him.
How can you say that? What an honor.
I think it did with you, like in that
That's
season.
what I saw, yeah. Well, and even like in my own, like...
Yeah, like...
I came across people who wanted to talk about faith and who, like, I have this tattoo on my forearm. What was it? I met a girl who lives in Texas who had to quit gymnastics because she had a wrist injury. I get a random text from her like 2 years later, and she got this tattoo on her back.
What's it say?
Huper Nikeo, to be more than a conqueror. Yes. And that's just like, that was my entrance into every conversation of like, who Jesus was in my life and what He did for me. Romans 8:37.
That we are more than conquerors.
Through
Him, Christ Jesus. Yeah.
And so I just like, at that point it was shifting from the like, woe is me, poor me, like to what an honor it is that God wants to use me to bring people to know Him. Or that He sees something in me to flow through me to other people that, I wouldn't otherwise have the confidence to just go out and be like, hey, this is who Jesus is. Like, that's just not my personality. So, like, to be able to use a story of what I've gone through to, share who Jesus is and to be like, this is who He is, even in the midst of the valley. So I just think, like, seeing Harper go through this, like, it sucks as parents to see her. She has no idea, obviously, but it sucks for us because we know. And so, like, to know the possibilities of what she may have to go through is so hard. But at the same time, like, Brayden and I are always just like, we're so excited to see, like, whose lives she's going to touch and how God's going to use her, because we saw that in our lives and what we've been through. So it's just like, we know without a shadow of a doubt that he's got something so awesome planned for her, and like he's going to use her for amazing things. And like, we just know that for a fact, because that's just who God is.
And she's such a just sweet, like joy. When she's in the office, she's a little mascot.
She is such a,
You guys came to
Big
our
personality.
staff development day, and she's asleep in your basement office, which, by the way, I'm sorry about the basement office, man. We're working on a facility. We're not relegating you someplace, but she's down there just napping, and you've got her on a YouTube channel or something.
I just
don't know. You're just watching her.
Brayden,
Or
FaceTime. Had
FaceTime.
my
Yeah, that's what
phone
it
down
was.
there,
Yeah. So that's next level, because it's not you don't strike me as the helicopter mom.
No, I just am not really. Yeah.
I like that. No offense to helicopter moms, but get a grip. Get a grip a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, they got to skin their knees and do some stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else on dependency? This has been great. I mean, the first podcast, 194, was great. I like this one even better, because now we're getting to the reels.
Yeah.
You know, they were both good. You know, I'm not.
Yeah.
No,
absolutely. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think hit it all.
Yeah.
Just continue.
Gabby, you going to get into coaching? Either one of you going to get into coaching?
I wouldn't mind. Yeah.
I want to.
I wouldn't mind
Not
doing
football, though.
Yeah.
Not football.
Brayden doesn't
Not
want to
football.
coach football, but I wouldn't mind getting into
Playing
coaching.
it's fine. Coaching it, no thanks.
No.
Too much film.
Too much film.
Too much
memorization. Yeah, the
memorization.
memorization.
Yeah.
It is true.
No.
It's a very coach-centered, kind of run the thing. But
Yeah.
whatever God has
Yep.
for you here, one of the cool things is, those opportunities to get out and be that salt and light wherever God puts you. And I know you're still trying to get your feet underneath you. You've got a big, big, big job, both of you, with students and also with young adults.
Yeah.
And we're just pumped to have you here. And so thanks for sharing about dependency.
Yeah.
Did we leave anything out? It doesn't.
think so.
It can be whatever. It can be a verse. It can be a. I mean, I'll tell you later about the dudes in our church that do the paint. That we got some next level dudes.
Yeah.
That because you said that your dream is to have 2 sleeves and a face tat, right?
not the face tat.
No, not
2
the face
sleeves
tat.
is good though.
Yeah, 2 sleeves is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't think so.
No.
that's good. Matt, did we leave anything out? Labrum. Take care of your labrum.
Let it heal.
Let it heal, buddy. Let it heal. It'll impact your lats. So, yeah,
I needed to hear that.
you needed to hear that.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for going deep with us, letting us into your lives. Tabernacle family, if you know that this podcast would help some, or even if you don't, if you could share it on social media, and if you guys share it with Montana, there's people in Montana that need to know.
Need to.
Yeah, they
Dependency
need to know.
on the Lord.
Dependency on, absolutely. You may have just titled it. So you've inspired me. I can get into the woe is me moments. And, I've been saying to a lot of people for probably the last 2 years, becoming like a broken record. From our friend Foster, God is just always, in every situation, pushing us to deeper and deeper levels of trust.
Yeah.
That's what he wants from us.
Mhm.
Trust is faith. It's all related.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
wants us to trust him. So, yeah.
Yep.
Until next time. Wait a second. Do we need a shout outs? Are we good? Is this a shout out to Liquid Death?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So this we don't know if it's brought. Yeah, it was brought to you by Liquid Death, which is, if you don't know, is water. Right?
Really
Sparkling
good
water.
sparkling water.
It's actually really good.
I've had
Best.
it.
It's the
It's
best.
really good.
I've had this one, and they're in cans for a reason, because it's better for the environment
That's right.
than the whatever.
Yeah, I think it's like recycle or die. That's on their cans.
Yes, recycle or die.
Yeah.
My son picked one of those up on a vacation. That became his jam for a
Yeah.
minute. So, anyways, it's from Liquid Death, Dublin General Store. Thank you for the meats. We got some meat treats the last couple of times. So if you're listening back in the meat packing room, we love you guys. And before summer's over, we haven't done this in forever. I would just encourage you both. Get yourself a peach shake from Chick-fil-A. You've heard of the Jesus Chicken. The peach shake will remind you that you could have been in the South, but the South came up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's up north now.
So pumped.
Love it.
And you're like the big Michigan fan.
Huge.
Yes.
A lot of people, just in case you're thinking that Brayden is a poser, he's not, because like in your first message here, you dropped Michigan, and I said,
did.
are you trying to like fit in with the Michigan fans or what?
Yeah. No, that was just
he's been a Michigan.
Big Michigan fan, hate Ohio State. So
oh my days!
had to compare them to the Judaizers. You know?
Yes, he did. Oh, that was brilliant. Yeah, I've actually told my father that, the nicest Ohio State fan, but hey, Dad, apparently Ohio State fans are like the Judaizers.
That's right.
They think they know football.
Yeah,
they don't know football.
That's funny.
Yeah. Sweet. Until next time, this is Gabby and Braydon Cromwell, Lord Matthew Corey Hughes, and me, John Vermilia, signing off.